Hello and welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to work on unraveling travel tension. So we're going to focus on the hips, pelvis area, the hamstrings, and this is going to help loosen up that lower back. And we'll do a little bit of shoulder stuff too to help unravel any tension you may have from traveling. So this is a great practice to do if you are doing a lot of traveling, going to see people, family, friends, or even if you're just sitting a lot. So they don't necessarily be traveling. So we'll get started with a quote. It is better to travel well than to arrive. Buddha. So maybe remember that during your travels if you find yourself traveling this season. We're going to start moving and we're going to get in downward facing dog. So this is, again, great to do when you arrive, just to kind of get all that tension out of your body. So we'll come into a nice downward dog, and we're just going to get some movement going right away. So go ahead and tuck your back toes, lift your hips up, plant your hands in front of you, and really just pedal out those feet. So walk your dog a little bit. Give yourself a nice pedaling of the legs here. You can have a nice deep bend in your knees, but really get some good pedaling going here to kind of help open up any tightness you may have from sitting for a while. You can continue to move here a bit more, breathing while you're doing this. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and sink back into a settle into a nice downward dog where you're not moving now. And then we're just going to do a twist. So to do this, sometimes it's easier to shorten up your dog stance just a little bit. So I'm bringing my feet in just a little bit. And you're going to take your right hand and grab a hold of your left shin or maybe your knee, wherever you can reach, and twist under. So go ahead and look underneath of your shoulder, your left shoulder there. Look up underneath of you and really twist your body a bit. And you're also going to really feel this in your hamstrings also. And return that right hand down. Now you do your left hand. So go ahead and take your left hand to your right shin and look up underneath of your shoulder. And twisting your body a bit. You'll really feel that in your hamstrings. Another breath here. And release that. Come back in your downward dog. Go ahead and spread out to your normal length on your down dog. And then we're going to step the right foot forward and come into a lunge, a low lunge. So go ahead and drop that back knee down. Come on up. It got suddenly windy here where I'm recording, so hopefully it's not going to mess up on the mic. So go ahead and sink into your nice lunge here. You can stay more upright if you'd like. If your quads are really tight, that'll help open up the quads by tucking your tailbone. Or if you feel like your hip flexors are tighter, you can sink into that front bent knee. So decide what's best for you, or you can do a little bit of both. And then we're going to just do a side bend here. So go ahead and have your right hand is going to be on your knee. And we're going to bring that right arm up overhead and give yourself a nice side bend to the right. Breathe here. And then come back up, and then go ahead and place that left hand down. We're just going to do a nice twist. So twist the body to the right. Bring that right arm up overhead. Twists are also nice to help flush the organs, especially if you've been sitting for a while. This is going to help give you some fresh blood to all your organs. And the next time, release that hand back down. And now we're just going to stretch back. We're going to straighten that right leg out in front of us the best that we can. We're going to stretch back into a nice little hamstring opener here, or stretch, I guess I should say. Now, I wanted to keep this class prop free, but if you do have blocks handy and you'd like to use them, go ahead and use those to put your hands up, or you can just come up without having your hands on blocks. But again, I'm trying to make this prop free since I'm assuming that some of you might be doing this while you're traveling, and so you may not have a block handy. So do your best here. You can come up on your fingertips. Look forward and really feel that stretch in your hamstring there. If you got really tight hamstrings, you're really going to feel this. You can always give yourself a slight bend in the knee if that helps. And then come on forward, and we'll come back into a nice downward facing dog before we switch to the other side. So go ahead and go back into your downward facing dog. Get a nice stretch back there. Again, pedal out your feet. Really take that dog for a walk, so to speak. And this just helps with the calves, the hamstrings, all of it. So get a nice pedaling there. And then when you're ready, go ahead and step that left foot forward. drop that back knee down and tuck those back toes and come on up into your low lunge. Again, if you want to work on more on quads, you can stay more upright, tucking your tailbone in, or you can sink deeper into that front leg. So that'll really work on more of your hip flexor area. So decide what's best for you. Get tall, breathe in here, and then go ahead and have your left hand on your left knee and bring your right arm up overhead and get a nice little side bend twist here. Side bend, I'm sorry, not twist. Side bend to the left, and you'll feel a nice opening here. This area also gets really tight when we sit a lot. It's just a good way to open up that side body. Breathe here. Make sure you remember to breathe. Holding your breath is not beneficial. And then go ahead and come up, and then go ahead and bring that right hand down to the ground. And now twist to your left. So go ahead and twist over and bring that left arm up overhead. And giving yourself a nice twist. This is a nice rinse for those organs. Breathing here. And then bring your arm back down. And now we're going to stretch back with that front leg. It's going to be nice and straight out in front of you. And again, you can be up on blocks here, or you could just even be up if you can kind of balance yourself there, or bring yourself down to fingertips. Looking forward and really flexing those front toes the best that you can. Breathing here for a moment. And then stretch forward. And we're going to go ahead and come back into downward facing dog. So again, pedal out those legs. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Downward dog is such a great pose. I'm going to come down for a moment so I can talk you through it. But go ahead and stretch back there and really stretch through your legs, pedaling out, push down through your arms. Downward dog is such a great pose because it stretches almost our entire body. So it's a great pose to do if you don't have a lot of time. So really push through the earth with your hands and your feet, really pushing yourself into this pose. Bring your hips up. You can always have a bend in your knees if you'd like, but really just stretching here for a moment. Just letting everything stretch out, because if you've been sitting either through travel or just sitting at your desk, this is great to help unravel all that tension. And then let's come down into a nice child pose for just a moment before we move into what I call the toe stretcher. So go ahead and sit back on your heels. You can have your knees wider if you like. You can come on down to your elbows, come down to your forehead. Select this child's pose that works best for you today. I'm really just stretching out through your arms. I'm going to stay more upright because I have a mic, but you go ahead and come into your variation of child's pose that works best for you. Breathing here for a moment and just stretching those arms forward. Really let all that go. Your shoulders, your back, your upper back. So breathe here for a few rounds. And then we're going to come up, and now we're going to come into what I call the toe stretcher. So you may have to come out of this, and that's okay if you have to. So what you're going to do is you're going to tuck your toes under, and you're going to sit back on your heels. And you will feel this right away. Some people can stay in this only for a few seconds, some not at all, and some for longer. But this is great to stretch out the toes. And then we're going to interlace our hands behind our back and give yourself a nice stretch there. So go ahead and pull up with your, if this is too much on your toes, you can always untuck and just sit on your heels and come back into it when you feel ready. So stay in it as long as you can and then get out if you need to. But really stretch those arms out behind you to really open up your chest and your shoulders. Because a lot of times we're closed, we're hunched over either by driving or at a desk. So breathe in here, feel that stretch, and then exhale and release those toes and sit back on your heels for just a moment. That's a little intense, I know, on the toes. And then we're going to do another stretch for the shoulders here too. Again, you can, if you liked that toe stretch, toe cruncher, feel free to do that again. If you're like, no, that's not for me, I'm not doing that, then you can just sit on your heels, interlace your hands in front of you, and then bring your palms out in front of you and really stretch out this way. So you're stretching out your wrists. You're also kind of dome and round your upper back a bit here. So you can tuck your chin slightly and give yourself a nice little dome here to really open up those shoulders. And then we're going to bring the arms up overhead. And now you're going to be a little bit more of like in a back bend slightly. So kind of look up toward the sky. You'll have a little arch here in your lower back. We're working to open up the shoulders this way. Breathing here. And then exhale, bring your hands down to your sides. And now we're going to come into a nice bridge on our back. So go ahead and lie on your back. And the soles of your feet will be on the mat. And from here, soles of your feet on the mat, hands are down at your sides. Lift your hips up any amount. So you can come into a deeper one if you want, really bringing them up, or you can come up part way, whatever feels best. But what we're really doing is helping open up this whole front body. And breathe here. And you can close your eyes, kind of get your shoulders up underneath of you the best you can. So you're really opening that chest. Try not to let your knees splay out or in. Try to keep them pointed directly out in front of you. Breathe here, a few more rounds. Exhale down. Notice for a moment how that feels. And we'll do that one more time. So go ahead and come on up to another bridge. Your level of where you would like to be in bridge. Lifting those hips. You can even interlace your hands underneath of you if you like. That'll help open your shoulders up a bit more too. Or you can just leave them on the mat or grab a hold of your mat. Breathing here a few rounds. Feeling that nice opening on the whole front of your body. And then exhale and come all the way back down. Go ahead and lower yourself back to the ground. And from here, go ahead and stretch both of your legs out in front of you and your arms out to your sides. And let your body sink into the mat. Feel really long here and heavy. So go ahead and let your body really go into the mat there. Let it feel heavy, long. Lengthen your legs out to one side, your arms out to the sides. Just feel your whole body get a nice little reclined stretch here, passive. And let your body go into the mat. I'm going to leave you here for just a few moments, so go ahead and take the time. You've taken the time to move your body a little bit. This was a very short class, but even a short amount of time, we can really find some changes in our body. For those of you that don't have a lot of time, if you'd like to come up, you can. Those of you that have extra time, go ahead and stay in Shavasana and ignore my cues. For the rest of you who need to get on with your day, go ahead and hug your knees into your chest, roll over to one side, and prop yourself up with your hands. I appreciate you watching this video and taking this class with me. I hope this was very helpful for you. Even though it was a short class, you may find that it might be helpful to run through kind of that same sequence a couple of times if you have a little more time, so feel free to do that. But I hope this short amount of time helped open things up for you and you feel a little bit better in your body after either traveling or sitting too much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for joining.